Before the bright lights, before the pro stadiums, before the roaring crowds. Today, a first of its kind. They are the most promising Canadian football players from coast to coast. And today, they're given a chance to showcase their skills.
And the favorite target this season for Trevor Harris is Brad Sinopoli. Oh, what a catch, Sinopoli.
The path has been laid out. A country rich with talent. Who's next? The CFC Prospects Game is now.
TD Place has been the stage for some great moments in Canadian football recently. Who can forget 2015 in the CFL East Final, Burris to Ellingson, and then a few short years later, one of the greatest comebacks in Grey Cup history when the Toronto Argonauts defeated the heavily favored Calgary Stampeders in Grey Cup 105. And today, TD Place is the stage again, this time for Canada's top young football talent. Come on inside, Canada. Matthew Shinetti here in Ottawa. Welcome to the inaugural CanadaFootballChat.com Prospects Game. Now, a few years ago, when TSN partnered with BioSteel on the All-Canadian basketball game, we got a chance to see some of the top young talent on the hardwood. And from that game, we learned all about Jamal Murray, future NBA first-round draft pick. Today is no different. Pay attention, because the players you'll see on this football field will next be starring in U Sports, the NCAA, and maybe, hopefully, the CFL. And I can't think of two better men to call the game than our football guru and CFL and TSN analyst Dwayne Ford, and the head coach of the New Westminster High-Act Football Club, and I think he has a few boys in this game, CFL and TSN's own Farhan Lalji. Farhan?
Thank you, Matt. And you know these young players have hit it big when they've got Matthew Shinetti on the sidelines wearing his Chucks. They have got it made. They feel like CFLers now. And when there's this much talent in a game, Dwayne, and there's a lot of it on this field, it's hard for the coaches to necessarily identify quickly who the go-to guys are going to be. I don't think it took Matt Dunnigan long to take a look at Nolan Ulm, a receiver from Kelowna, British Columbia, know that he could have a big day here on Saturday.
Yeah, Nolan Ulm is one of those guys who certainly stands out in a crowd by his stature, a tall target, and a big kid. This is a guy who already knows his way very well around the weight room. So he's got that physical size and strength that they're going to try and take advantage of in some one-on-one situations. We'll often see him lined up as a single receiver, we anticipate, to the boundary side. They may go trips and quads to the field and try and get him one-on-one to try and open him up.
He looks like a collegiate player right now, and I think the NCAA might be in his future. And it may also be for Callum Wither, a young quarterback who's still only in the 10th grade. He'll play for Henry Burris' squad. He may have a bright future as well.
Yeah, and this is a guy who is in a very interesting situation where he's had some older guys playing ahead of him at Clarkson Football North, where he goes to school. But a terrific kid who has developed very well, as you said, only in grade 10, coached by Larry Justanis, a former Canadian Football League quarterback. Wither is a guy who, when he arrived in grade 9, was about 5'7", $125. Well, he's grown so much that he's now about 6'2", and really looks the part. And we look forward to seeing what he does today and down the road.
Yeah, and after this event, he's got a busy summer of NCAA camps planned, including trips to the University of Michigan and Ohio State. Matt?
Farhan and Dwayne, think about the time and the patience and the dedication these young men have had to put into their craft. Now it's that first big stage, and really, which name here today in Ottawa are we going to remember? What name is going to shine in the bright lights today and in the future? We will be back at the nation's capital for the start of the CFC inaugural Prospects Game.
We are in the nation's capital, where 70 of the nation's top high school football players will strut their stuff in front of friends, family, and hopefully collegiate scouts as they set their future in the CanadaFootballChat.com Prospects Game. And like any all-star game, this will have a few different rule changes. The defense will be limited to just 4 men along the line of scrimmage. No more than 5 men can actually pressure the passer. To make things easier on the defense, we've got no motion across the formation. We've also got no kickoffs. Normally at this point we'd say we'll be back with kickoff, but it's not going to happen that way. Every possession will begin from the 40-yard line, unless of course it's after a turnover. And after a touchdown, the first time through, you must kick the convert. After that, the coaches will have the opportunities to be creative. Here's a look at the head coaches.
Coming for you, Hank.
And you know they're going to have some fun. Matt Dunnigan and Henry Burris.
Okay. I like that. I love it. I love it.
They'll be mic'd up for this game. Almost 700 touchdown passes between them. Over 100,000 passing yards between them.
I'll tell you what. They're smiling at each other right now.
We haven't kicked off. Hey, you're on the white. You get to get back. Get off the field. Son of a.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a bit more of that as this day progresses. We got to make sure we've got that beep button going, because if they get heated, there might be a few things we want to.
That's right. It's fun in games now, but you wait till the fourth quarter, the smiles might be gone from those two.
Henry Burris' team will open on offense. Callum Wither, the quarterback, with the first handoff of the game.
We'll take a look at some of the young men taking part in this game. Here are the offensive skill guys for Team Burris. We mentioned Callum Wither, starting quarterback, grade 10 student. We expect Matthew Moran to get a lot of the touches from the backfield along the offensive line. Keep an eye on number 53. We expect to see him at left tackle. Albert Reese IV, if the name sounds familiar. He's the son of the former Edmonton Eskimo D-tackle.
Wither back to pass with a perfect throw to Logan Buckwitz. Can't find the handle. Buckwitz has had a challenging couple of days dealing with an injury, but he is able to play in this game, fortunately.
Well, Logan Buckwitz, one of the grade 10s participating in this football game. This is a guy expected to get some NCAA interest big time as he heads into grade 11. Big target, big strong kid, but as you mentioned, suffered an injury playing with his 7-on-7 team last week, so he was a little limited in practice, but wasn't going to miss game day.
So no kickoffs, but there are punts in this game. Ethan Nagler from Kelvin, Manitoba is the punter right now for Henry Burris' team. Ball along the ground, picks it up, and he's going to scramble around, does get the kick away. Returned out to the 45-yard line.
A little bit of trouble with the snap here. Came in a little bit low for Nagler. I think you're seeing some of that all-star game friendliness for the on-rushing defensive lineman. Didn't want to hit him. He was able to sidestep and get that kick away.
Tanner Dockstader with the return, and fortunately, Ethan was able to pick his knee up before he touched that football. Otherwise, it would have been dead right there. Dunnigan's team on offense, Xavier Vaillancourt, the quarterback. He looks over the middle, and he is intercepted. Tyson Kruszalniski with the interception, takes it into Dunnigan territory, brought down at the 47-yard line.
Well, Tyson Kruszalniski out of Bishop James Mahoney High School in Saskatoon. One of the linebackers who has been talked about a lot leading into this football game. You can find him right in front of the umpire. He's going to drop into zone coverage. Looked like Vaillancourt just didn't see him underneath that receiver. Kruszalniski goes up and gets that one. Gives Team Burris terrific field position to start this possession.
One of 3 Bishop James Mahoney players in this game from Saskatchewan. Already has an offer to the University of Alberta. That ball is caught at the 15-yard line, and that is Jarrell Brown with the reception off of Wither's pass. Wither on the mark so far in the early going here, Dwayne.
Yeah, terrific pass from Wither. Jarrell Brown finds himself wide open. This is a little bit of the risk. You get a game where the guys just have a couple of days to get ready to play. Sometimes you have a little bit of miscommunication. Wither drops that one into the big target from Salisbury High School. It's in the Edmonton area.
Wither again, this time the handoff. It goes to Ishay Matanga. He gets a couple of yards before being brought down at the 10. Let's take a look at Matt Dunnigan's defense.
Terrific group. One of the guys to keep an eye on that defensive line, Leif Magnuson, son of former CFLer, former Winnipeg Blue Bomber, Quinn And those guys on the back end. Watch number 22, Javon Blake. We expect to see him line up a little bit at the nickel linebacker and free safety spots. Terrific athlete out of Rutland High School, Kelowna, BC.
Wither on 2nd and 7. Over to the left side. That time it's caught by Buckwitz. He's fighting his way into the end zone. He fumbles the ball, and it is ruled a touchdown. We don't have replay in this game, Dwayne, but Logan Buckwitz with the fumble, but they wind up getting the ball across the goal line for a touchdown for Team Burris.
Yeah, that's Sonny Bermudez Chavez, the opportunist who scoops that one up. Here you see quick strike. Wither to Buckwitz out in the flat. They swarm to tackle him, get the strip. Bermudez Chavez comes up with it. And is it not fitting that the game's first touchdown would be scored by a guy from Harry Ainley High School, the alma mater of Ottawa Red Blacks head coach Rick Campbell?
Harry Ainley from the Edmonton area. And again, as you see on the replay, that was clearly a touchdown. Good heads-up play by Bermudez Chavez. And Wither, again, every ball has been on the money early on in this game. Zach Frustalio misses on the PAT. Let's take a look one more time. Bermudez Chavez, Johnny on the spot with the heads-up play, crosses the goal line, and it is 6-0 for Team Burris.
Yeah, man. Good job. Good job, man. Hey, good thing on that on the last play, you didn't need to hitch it. Get out there quick, let him go.
I just did a quick three. I was just like,
yeah, because you saw them come to the stack, so you already knew. Yeah, you already knew you had them.
And then Pearl, I was like, corner of my eye, just see corner drop. I'm like, see.
Yeah, gone. Nice job, man. Nice job.
Wither, a young man that is beyond his years. We had a chance to talk to him earlier in the week and just got his head screwed on straight, has all the right answers when even a legend like Henry Burris is talking to him. Respectful. This kid's got an unbelievable future. Jawan Smith this time, the carry. Not much doing there. Just a gain of about a yard.
We'll take a look at some of the other offensive weapons for Team Dunnigan. Keep an eye on that receiving core on Nolan Ulm out of Kelowna, British Columbia. Big receiver. Expect him to be a big part of the offensive strategy today. Along that offensive line, bunch of the tackle spots. Derek Beaubien out of Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. Victor O'Lanaran from the Winnipeg City champion Vincent Massey Trojans.
Viancourt drops back to pass. This one goes off the fingertips of Jackson Serby. So a quick 2 and out for Team Dunnigan as they look to respond, trailing 6-0 in the early going in this game. Zach Copeland will be the punter for Team Dunnigan from Parkside Collegiate Institute. Does all the kicking disciplines for his high school. Kickoffs, field goals, and punts. 80% on field goals last year. Ball goes off the side of his foot. We'll get a no yards on that play. I believe that's Bermudez Chavez with the recovery. Great field position for Team Burris. When we come back, they've got a 6-0 lead as we go to break.
First Quarter is brought to you by the CFC Insider. Visit CanadaFootballChat.com to become a member. Everything you need for high school football recruiting.
You'll be hearing a lot of CFC and CanadaFootballChat.com. This is the group that put this game together, and they really have changed the narrative for high school football across this country, amateur football in general, with the work they've done to promote players, promote events, and this is the fruits of their labor here today. Callum Wither dropping back to pass. His first incompletion of the game.
Yeah, you look at the book on CanadaFootballChat.com. They provide rankings of Canada's top high school football players, top prospects based on their graduating classes. They rank the top high school football teams in Canada. A site that was established to be Canada's #1 recruiting outlet, and I can assure you they have accomplished that and then some.
Wither again on 2nd and 10. Drops back, and this time he is intercepted. He could go all the way. That is Austin West. Stays in bounds, no run out of bounds. Inside the 10-yard line, down to the 9. An incompletion followed by an interception for Wither after a very promising start to this game.
That one picked off the man of the moment, Austin West from St. Patrick's High School in Sarnia. Lines up at the halfback spot, and you see Callum Wither, the young quarterback, looking out to that flat, looking for Logan Buckwitz again. He's been his favorite target thus far. I think the Team Dunnigan defense might be starting to figure that out as West slips in underneath for the pick, and a big return here.
60-plus yards, Team Dunnigan now. 1st and goal to go. Xavier Viancourt quarterback again. Viancourt takes the low snap, looks to the left side, and it looks like a touchdown. Nathan Falcone with the reception, and Team Dunnigan has tied this game.
Well, terrific concentration there by Nathan Falcone, and a well-placed throw from Xavier Viancourt, quarterback from Cochrane, Alberta. And we expect big things from him. His offensive coordinator at Cochrane, none other than former CFL great Tom Forzani. Nathan Falcone from Mono, Ontario. He attends St. Andrews College in Aurora, Ontario. That's in the Greater Toronto area. A school that's given us a number of very good college players, a few CFLers, including BC Lions offensive lineman, first-round pick last year, Peter Godber, a product of St. Andrews.
All Griffiths now to attempt the PAT, and it is good. Team Dunnigan takes the lead. Lots to celebrate on this play. He bowls him over. Dunnigan with a lead.
Offensively, we want to be offensive. Defensively, we want to be offensive. Okay? That's our mindset. We're not out there half-stepping. It's going to go fast. That's probably the biggest lesson I can tell you by experience. It is going to go fast. So be locked in. If you're glazed over and you're not locked in and you're daydreaming for some reason, this day will pass you by in a heartbeat.
That doesn't get you motivated. I'm not sure what will.
The boys were clearly listening. He wants that defense to be offensive. They sure set the table for that first score.
Wither with the handoff. Gain of 10+. Matthew Moore in the ball carrier. Here's another look at the touchdown.
Yeah, he's working on the corner route. Nice stem to the inside to set up the defender. Well-placed throw where only the receiver can get to it. He's got Nathan Falcone has the defender. Tanner Dockstader boxed out. Viancourt dropped it in there nicely, right along the sideline.
Gain of 8 on the play, actually, by Morin from Lloydminster Composite in Alberta. Wither on 2nd and 2. Hands off again to Moore, and he's got the first down and more across midfield to the 52-yard line. Good block here by the fullback, Dwayne. You'll like that.
Yeah, nice work by the fullback. We also get a nice job. You've got an extra lineman in the game. Number 51 is Cameron Friesen. He's out of Bethlehem High School in Saskatoon. Nice kick out to create the lane there. Matunga, big hybrid type running back. And turns it north-south.
This time a reception. Bermudez Chavez again. And another fumble. Javon Blake picks it up. He's across midfield and he steps out of bounds at the 48-yard line. So back-to-back fumbles. One results in a touchdown. One goes back the other way for Team Burris.
Bermudez Chavez looking to make something happen after the catch.
Malcolm Bell pulls it out.
Yeah, big strip there from Malcolm Bell. One of the most talked about DBs. We'll have more on him later in this ball game. But Javon Blake with the recovery.
Let's go!
Fortunate that he stepped out of bounds. He's one of the fastest players playing in this ball game.
Viancourt again under center. Takes off with it. Still alive. Wide open in the flat. That's Stephen Koniak with the reception all the way down to the 22-yard line.
Koniak's going to be lined up on the outside. Does a nice job as the quarterback starts to escape the pocket of working back to the sideline. He'll push upfield. You see he's got a big cushion. Vaillancourt works to his left. Koniak back to the football. And they're respecting the speed of Koniak. This is a kid who ran a sub 4.5 in the lead up to this ball game. In the tryout camps, had the fastest 40-yard dash time.
1st and 10 at the 22. Handoff inside. That time it's Jaden Caston.
I'll take a quick look at the defense for Team Burris. So they look to get a stop here. An eye in the middle on Natali Frangioni, local guy taking part in this football game. He's from St. Joseph's Football North. We've already seen an interception from Tyson Krushelniski in that linebacking core. And keep an eye on the free safety in this one as well. Number for Team Burris, Brad Kamayu.
That was Riker Frank with the reception. This time a completion to Nathan Falcone again. Same man who scored the touchdown on the last drive gets it to the 10-yard line.
Yeah, not a big receiver, but he's a guy who, again, we anticipate him seeing the football a lot. We expect Nolan Ulm to sort of be the #1 receiving threat for Team Dunnigan in this ball game, but Falcone, another guy who stood out to coaches during the week, making some tough catches.
A guy that can figure out where the soft spots in the zones are. He also plays quarterback for his team at St. Andrews. Another low snap. Vaillancourt keeps it, but this time he is brought down and sacked. That's Krushelniski with the sack. 1 interception in this game, and he adds a sack, the product of Bishop James Mahoney in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, the man known as Crush to his teammates, making his presence felt early in this ball game. Remember, we see number 30, Tyson Krushelniski. Bull rush through the inside shoulder. The running back on that one.
2nd down now, loss of 6 on the play. Vaillancourt looks to his right. Has a completion, but for minimal gain. That's Colby Herford from Salisbury. And a great tackle on the play by Taryn Birdie of New Westminster. I might say that name a little more than I should.
I'll tell you what, every time you say that name, I'm going to say terrific play in spite of questionable coaching from his high school boss.
Yeah, but Clint Utley is the defensive coordinator, and he's here running the game, so that's all on Clint.
Yeah, now I know he's one of your guys for the New Westminster Hyaks. Considered one of the top defensive backs in that 2020 recruiting class.
Oliver Griffiths on to attempt the short field goal from 19 yards. And it's good. Team Burris.
Get off your blocks, baby.
Dunnigan with the 9-0 lead when we come back to
Get
Ottawa.
off your blocks. Hey, let's set the tone. New city.
The CFL likes to ask, is it June yet? Well, June is finally here, and the CFL's opening weekend is just over 2 weeks away. The Saskatchewan against Hamilton in our first game of week 1. 8 teams are in action. It caps off on the 15th on Saturday with the Blue Bombers against the BC Lions.
Yeah, just move out over. Get out here on the field.
Hank's team got the early lead. Now they're trying to get back in this one, trailing 10-6.
A lot of fun yesterday watching Hank and Maddie getting out on the field with the young guys, particularly working with their quarterbacks.
Change of quarterbacks right now. Eli Hetlinger. Looked like there was something going on at the bench, some sort of confusion that's getting Hetlinger in the game now. Hands off to Matthew Morin from Lloydminster, and a loss on the play of 2 yards.
Well, Eli Hetlinger, another product of Harry Ainley High School in Edmonton, Alberta. Not just a quarterback, this is a young man who also plays high school basketball, throws the javelin, runs on the 4x1 relay team as well, so we'll see if we get to see him showcase that speed as part of the play calling here today.
Nathan Karabatsakis with the tackle for loss on that last play.
Ready, go front.
Hedlinger dropping back to pass, getting pressures, manages to stay on his feet for now, but not for long. Great perseverance on that play. Cody McMahon with the sack.
McMahon, defensive end from Mission, BC. Going to see he's working on the inside, coming from that three-point stance this time. Quick swim to the inside, as you see, and then it's just keep that motor running to stay alive. Not let the quarterback escape. A lot of feeling, Farhan, in this football game that the defensive line might be the strongest position group.
And on the other side, Burris' offensive line includes 3 underclassmen by this game standards. 3 of the 12 grade 10s in this game are offensive linemen on Burris' team. Ethan Nagler scrambling around, fumbles the ball, and it's recovered. Karabatsakis with the recovery in great field position now for Team Dunnigan, and we've seen a few snap issues on special teams early in this game.
Yeah, and turnovers continuing to be an issue for Team Burris. Hank's going to have to address that.
Yeah, no need to flip that ball out there, but was certainly going to be a loss in either case.
I think the argument from Nagler, not that it's going to make a big difference in terms of field position, so that could be labeled as an incomplete pass rather than a fumble. But either way, on third down, it's going to be Team Dunnigan ball.
Krushelniski, the snapper for Team Burris. Normally a very reliable one. Another drop snap. Valancourt puts one up into the end zone. A prayer on the play. We've got a flag on the play as well. Nolan Ulm, the intended target. Taryn Birdie in coverage. You know, I'm going to disagree with this call. Just because.
I know those new West roots run deep for you.
Actually, I'm a big fan of this kid, Nolan Ulm, as well, from Kelowna, who...
Well, when you're not coaching against him.
We have a legal pass interference on the defense. More than 15 yards. Up 15. First down.
Well, this is a play that looked like it was trouble for Team Dunnigan from the get-go. Valancourt throws this football with a defender right in his face. That's why the ball hangs up a little bit. Ulm able to see the ball, starts trying to work back towards it. Birdie with his back to the ball, a little late to react, and thus providing resistance, preventing the offensive player from getting back to the rock.
See, it never would have happened if it had been thrown in the right spot. It was just put up for grabs, Dwayne.
So it should be no penalty because it was a short throw?
First and goal from the 4-yard line. Handoff on the play to Matthew Morin. Cuts inside. Brought down at about the 2-yard line.
And this is going to be Jaden Caston out of Calgary with the carry for Team Dunnigan. Nice cutback. Play made there by Jordan Friesen out of Dakota High School in Winnipeg.
Dunnigan's team goes under center here. Second and goal from the 2. This time another handoff to Caston, and he is stacked up. Nowhere to go, possibly a loss on the play back to the 3-yard line. That'll bring up third and goal, and the first interesting decision now for Dunnigan's crew. You got to go for it here, don't you? It's a fun Saturday.
I think you do. I think you do. You want to see your kicker kicking converts, not kicking field goals, especially with the ball inside the 5.
Matt knows he's not going to get fired after this game. Actually, he's going to get fired either way.
That's right. Playing with house money.
Third and goal from the 4-yard line, loss of a couple on the play. 4 receivers to the left. And a handoff again to Morin, and nothing doing again.
Well, and that's Krushelniski again. coming up with the tackle, making his presence felt early in this football game.
Cast in the ball carrier, and I'm not surprised they went for it. Are you surprised they ran the ball in that situation?
Well, especially given Matty's down there getting in his quarterbacks and coordinators' ears. I'm surprised that ball wasn't in the air.
Looks like Callum Withers going to go back into the game for Team Burris at quarterback.
Here's a look at Tyson Krushelniski, very productive player so far for Team Burris. He's got an interception, he's got a sack, and had a big third down tackle. As you see, considered the number 3 linebacker in the class of 2020 by CFC.
That's a great job.
Listen up. On the front line, we have got
over 100 tackles.
Well, you mentioned an offer on the table for him from the University of Alberta, but can't imagine that the in-province schools want to see this guy venture too far. Playing in Saskatoon for Bishop James Mahoney.
Take off, double hand shot, make them start over.
Former CFL Jerome Erdman with the instructions on the sideline. And barring penalty, this will be the final play of the first quarter. Wither looks for the isolated route on the left side, and that's Sonny Bermudez Chavez with the reception. It's going to be close to the first down. Pretty entertaining start to this game here in the first quarter. It is Team Dunnigan 10, Team Burris 6. More from the CanadaFootballChat.com Top Prospects game when we come back to Ottawa. Welcome back to Ottawa for the second quarter action, and first quarter is highlighted by the turnovers. 5 turnovers so far, but an equal number of big plays. There's been a lot of entertainment out there in spite of those 5 turnovers, or maybe because of them.
Yeah, certainly the defense have provided a little bit of excitement creating those turnovers, but the offense is looking pretty good for guys that have only had a couple of days working together, a couple of days within the system. It's very evident that there's a lot of skill on the field at every position.
Yeah, no question. I mean, we've seen exceptional tackling on the defensive side. Offensively, we've seen a lot of completions. The offensive line play has been good. So as they try to figure things out, as we try to figure things out as well, it should be an entertaining 3 quarters going forward with Team Dunnigan, who trailed after the first series. They were down 6-0, but 10 straight points, all off turnovers, has Team Dunnigan ahead 10-6 as we begin second quarter action. And that was a first down at the end of that last completion. Matthew Morin now with a reception. 6 yards on the play, and we do have penalty flags on the play. Looked like a face mask on the play. Javon Blake from Rutland at the other end of that tackle. After a couple of turnovers, maybe Henry Burris has decided to get conservative a bit and let everyone get conservative.
Face mask on the defense, up 15 yards.
Javon Blake with the face mask.
Face mask, you can't tackle with that, Dunnigan. Hey, what are you guys teaching them?
You can't use the face mask.
Quiet over there.
I know they are quiet over there.
What's this?
Good thing this isn't the panel. I feel like Rod Smith right now. Wither looks to the left. He's got a completion to Logan Buckwitz, his second completion of the game, close to first down yardage before being brought down.
Yeah, Buckwitz is a very interesting guy. He's kind of baby Gronk out there, built like a tight end, working out of the slot. He's a guy that's earning comparisons as a member of the 2021 class, earning some comparisons to a guy who's considered the #1 player in the 2020 class. That's Theo Johnson from Windsor, Ontario, a tight end who has offers from all the big schools in the U.S., and there's a little bit of a feeling that a year later we may start to see the same sort of recruiting action with Buckwitz.
Yeah, I think we could, and I think tight end's ultimately going to be his natural position. He plays defensive end and receiver as well at GW Graham Secondary School in Chilliwack, BC. We're going to play them on September the 13th, so I know Birdie's going to get a lot of matchups against Buckwitz, I can tell you. But, you know, when you watch him, he's an equally effective blocker as well, and he missed the first couple of days of practice this week because of an injury, kind of in and out. But a guy that's got a lot of ability. He played both junior and senior football last year, finished with 49 touchdowns last year, Dwayne.
That's a busy season for anybody.
Looks like they're going to let Wither at least finish this drive. Coaches haven't decided what their quarterback rotations are going to be. Matthew Moran, the ball carrier, gain of about a yard before being brought down. Karabatsakis among those in on the tackle. Wherever you go, if you're a running back for Team Burris, you're going to find a St. Paul's linebacker on the other side.
Yeah, pretty good chance of that. A total of 4 of them playing in this game, 3 of them playing for Team Dunnigan.
All linebackers.
Yeah, Karabatsakis, Zach Lytle,
Nicholas Pereira.
Over on the other side, we've got Kandunji Sankala.
Injured man on the play. That was Dylan Remillard of Father Patrick McCready. Slow to walk off. Looks like he's going to be okay.
Out of Fort McMurray, Alberta.
Wither drops back to pass. Keeps it alive in the pocket before throwing incomplete, and we've got our first roughing the passer penalty. Cody McMahon from Mission Secondary, who had the sack earlier in the game, looks like he got there a little bit late, and the quarterbacks get protected here too, Dwayne.
Unnecessary roughness on the pass, sir. Up 15. Thanks, Marty. Thank you.
Hey, those are fight words right there, guys.
You're going to see McMahon once again taking some reps from that defensive tackle spot. He lines up in the A gap. We saw him work that swim effectively when he got his sack earlier in this ball game. That time blocked up pretty well. Little shove, and you know the head coaches were going to make sure that the rules protected the quarterbacks in this ball game.
As they should. Wither's still a young guy, you know. This time the handoff to Ishe Matanga, and he is brought down by McLeod, who makes up for his previous mistake with a 1-yard tackle for loss on the play. Cody McMahon, I should say, with the tackle for loss.
Yeah, big push from that defensive line. McMahon once again working that A gap. Having himself a game.
Man down, man down.
Another injury on the play.
And that was the man with the tackle, Cody McMahon.
He just wants a little more airtime, I would think, after that play. Coached by Danny Jacobs at Mission Secondary, up-and-coming program out there.
McMahon, part of the 2020 recruiting class. Ranked the number 87 prospect in that group, but I've got to believe that his play so far in this ball game may help him climb the charts.
Field side.
11 sacks last season. Both SFU and UBC out in British Columbia are interested in him, but he's starting to draw some OUA interest as well, including Windsor. So a 2nd and 11 from the 49-yard line for Callum Wither and company. Wither attempts the crossing pass to Logan Buckwitz, and that one a little bit behind him. Brings up 3rd and long and a punting situation for Team Burris.
Well, you mentioned a kid like Cody McMahon from Mission, BC, and starting to draw recruiting interest from this part of the country, from Ontario. And I know that some of the scouts, assistant coaches, and so on that have been out over the course of this week have been thrilled with the opportunity that this game has provided them to get so many of the nation's top prospects in one place at the same time. An opportunity to see some kids in person, see them play football, have a chance to talk to them in person. that they may not normally have.
Ethan Nagler on to punt. Deep to receive Falcone and Hufford. This one angled near the sideline. Hit somebody on the play there. Falcone manages to get a handle on it before being forced out of bounds, and we do have a penalty flag on the play, probably a no yards call. We'll sort out the call when we come back. Second quarter action from Ottawa. Team Dunnigan with a 4-point lead over Team Burris. Welcome back to second quarter action. It was, in fact, a no yards call, so Team Dunnigan will take the ball with a new quarterback from the 32-yard line. Let's send it down to Matthew Shinetti.
Farhan, I'm standing along the man who's put this all together, Lee Barrett, CEO of CanadaFootballChat.com. Lee, great to see you. You too. How do you put a game like this together with all these talented players?
Well, it's something we've been working on for 5 years, so it's we've had a great partner with TSN. Firstly, we want to thank everyone with TSN. Over the last 10 years with our site, we've developed our rankings, we've developed analysis of all players across the country, so it's a huge undertaking, but we've done a pretty good job for year one.
In terms of that analysis, what can you tell us? How good are these rosters?
For year one, again, they're fabulous. If you've been watching this long, you've already seen how great the talent is on the field. It's not like basketball where it's going to be one and done. You'll see them in 3 years in the pros. You're going to see these kids 5 to 6 years in the pros. And my estimation is 75 to 80% of these kids will be in CFL camps.
We've heard Dwayne talk about the value of CFC.com. What are your pointers to high school kids and parents out there watching?
Yeah, so the two best things you can do with regards to our site and how to utilize it. First thing, you got to become a member, become a CFC insider. It's going to give you all the answers in the difficult navigation of the recruiting process. And if you want to get noticed even more, you got to participate in our events. You got to come out and try out for this thing. You got to go into our combines, and that's going to give you the awareness and leverage. And all the scouts are going to see it. So, and they're fun. Thanks, Chris Lee. Thank you.
Tremendous job indeed by Lee and his entire crew, Clinton, Katie Utley, and many, many others, to get us finally to this point of having this game, an all-Canadian game in essence, here in the nation's capital.
Yeah, no question of that. As you see Samuel Tremblay in the game at quarterback. Tremblay from École Sainte-Anne in New Brunswick. Completely francophone school, but speaking the universal language of football today, Farhan.
And you saw his athleticism on the first play as he pulled the ball down on his own read. Doing it again here, takes off to the left. Tremblay still has the ball, gets the corner and the first down before getting out of bounds at the 43-yard line.
I love the job the coaches are doing of understanding their players, knowing their strengths and weaknesses. Tremblay, an athletic quarterback, a smaller, more mobile guy, perhaps, than Xavier Vaillancourt, who started this football game. We've seen Team Dunnigan take advantage of that with their play calling here early on.
Looks like a younger, thinner version of Mr. Dunnigan himself with the ball in the open field. Plays 9-man football in the Maritime, so 3 guys he's having to add for this one. Tremblay this time with a completion. That's Jackson Zerby all the way down to the 5-yard line. Zerby takes the short pass and turns it into a big gain.
Well, they get things blocked up. This is just an all-around good football play. First, you're going to see your quarterback, Samuel Tremblay, gets a drop, gets the protection. Well, beats the protection and finds Zerby. Hangs in long enough for Zerby to come open across the middle. Nice strike from your quarterback. Nice run after the catch.
That's an impressive play to take that hit and keep going. Another 10th grade player, one of the 12 10th grade players in this game right now, gives them a 1st and goal inside the 5-yard line. Tremblay looking to pass again. Looks for Nolan Olm. Pretty good coverage on the play there. Ball goes incomplete at the goal line. This was a player that we thought was going to be a bigger factor in this game early. When you saw how Dunnigan was trying to use these guys in practice, you saw that Olm was the complete package pretty early on, and we thought we were going to see a little more isolation to him in the early going.
Yeah, and we'll see if that develops a little bit as the game goes on. Obviously, they're still trying to get a feel for matchups, and you want your quarterbacks to stay true to their reads as well.
Come here.
timeout on the play by Team Dunnigan.
Offense, that'll work, Toby. I know.
Let's listen in.
Hey, guys.
Left. All right. Boot more and logo. All right. Hey, Nolan. Nolan. Yeah. Tighten your split and see if we can get the. You got an extra cross.
Yeah. Hey.
Cross, right?
Yeah. Because he's in tightest split. I want you to come hard inside. I want you to come release inside and then run a deep fade, right? Because he's going to boot over to the back side. Okay. And that may take a while. So you have an opportunity to come inside and move your man and then bust it over the top and look for the football.
Back shoulder too.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, back shoulder. But hey, if it's not there,
We're booting to the field here, though.
Okay.
Nolan's backside.
Okay. All right.
Booting to the quads.
I want him booting to the boundaries to the single man side. Yeah, I want him to.
And then get that fade, okay?
Great insight there. Looks like they're trying to get Nolan Ulm isolated here.
Well, I think that was part of the debate down there at field level, was Ulm is away from the quads formation.
Isolated to the field against my guy, Taryn Birdie. And they're probably going to bootleg him back that way. Trombley with the motion, goes back to the four-man side, and he has got a touchdown. Colby Herford with the catch. Little confusion in the backfield there, Dwayne, between quarterback and running back. Not sure they booted out the right way, but that was the right result.
Well, and you could hear again with that gathering on the sidelines, some debate about which way they were booting. Are we booting right? Are we booting left? Are we booting to the four-man side? Are we booting to the single receiver side? But in the end, it all works out for Team Dunnigan. It's Trombley to Herford for the touchdown. Herford, again, out of Salisbury High School in Sherwood Park, Alberta.
Looks like Team Dunnigan's going for two here to extend the lead even further. Up 16-6 now.
Hey guys, PAT.
Trombley drops back to pass, and another completion. And again, Jackson Zerby, who set up the touchdown with the long run, takes us into the end zone. Here's another look at the touchdown. Trombley, with a great start to this game, has his team with a big lead. Welcome back to Ottawa, and we are joined now by the Mayor of Ottawa, also known as Henry Burris. And Hank, your team had a 6-0 lead. You're down 12. What happened?
Well, you know, football is a game of just ebbs and flows, and we turned the ball over twice, and hey, they're a good team as well, and good teams make you pay for your mistakes, and that's all that's happening right now. But right now they have the momentum on their side. We just got to start making some plays, put together one drive offensively, and we'll be right back in this game.
So, Hank, what is it that you're telling your team exactly over there on the sidelines? We hear Dunnigan a lot on the mic. You've been pretty quiet, buddy.
Well, you know what? A lot of our stuff's been given a code, but we said we're going to go score, and it looks like we're going to make that happen right now. But honestly, the guys understand what's going on. It's been our mistakes. We know they're a good team. They've got good players, but we just need to do what we're coached to do and take good care of the football. We do those things right there. Everything takes care of itself because we know we're the superior team, and in the end, we will be in the lead. But right now, we're going to go put some more points on the board to make this game more of a contest before halftime.
Thanks, Hank. And just focus on the games. Quit chirping with Dunnigan so much.
Okay, exactly. You're right. You're right.
Hey, great reception by Jarrell Brown on that last play. Ball was thrown slightly behind him and just turned and caught it in perfect stride, getting down to the 32-yard line. And Team Burris knocking on the door. Now a handoff to Matthew Moran. Left side finds a bit of room before being stacked up by the St. Paul's Mafia, as we're now going to call them, being as they're from Winnipeg, and that might fit.
Yeah, I think so. This is something of a Winnipeg dynasty, the St. Paul's Crusaders. You see all these defensive players in particular. Nathan Karabatsakis in on the play that time. Cody McMahon continues to be a presence on that defensive line as well as he got in on the tackle.
Looked like some confusion there, but a wide open receiver. And that is Sonny Bermudez Chavez with the touchdown and the cartwheel.
Field goal!
Offside.
There we go.
On the defense. That penalty will be declined.
All right, D, let's go, baby.
There you go. The play that was slow to develop to start with ends with a touchdown. Eli Hedlinger to Sonny Bermudez Chavez. He started the game with a touchdown and adds a second one to his highlight reel here.
Yeah, and this is a good heads-up play by Eli Hedlinger. He knows he's got a bit of a freebie. And he's on the same page with his teammate, Bermudez Chavez, who's on the outside. Number 1 receiver, number 80 for Team Burris. Defense gets caught sleeping on the offside call. They see the flag. So the two Harry Ainley Titans connect on the play.
And Chavez left early, but the defense did cross first. You could see Malcolm Bell there just stopped playing because the receiver in front of him left early, just pointed to him. So a freebie on both ends, and Hank's not going to apologize. Team Burris attempting the 2-point conversion as well here. Edlinger with the pass, and it is incomplete. That was Oliver Longpre, the intended receiver. Either way, Team Burris gets back into this game. It is 18-12 following the touchdown and the celebration.
Second quarter is brought to you by Body Hype, your preferred brand of custom uniforms and apparel. You look good, you play good.
Team Dunnigan not happy with that last touchdown. Heard during the break there, Matt saying the game should have been stopped right there. Play should have been blown dead, but not how it works. But this makes for a more entertaining game when it's this close. Team Dunnigan now with the ball and a chance to respond. And Samuel Tremblay trying to build off what was a very impressive first couple of series. This time he hands the ball off to Riker Frank from Leboldus, Saskatchewan, the top running back in the Regina area. Big gain on the play.
Yeah, Riker Frank in football country. Rider territory has obviously grown up watching the green and white.
38-yard run on the play. Very strong season a year ago with over 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns. The number 5th ranked running back in the class of 2020. Tremblay back to throw, has a completion. This time it's Nathan Falcone again, who's turned into his favorite target in the early going. 9-yard gain on the play.
And this is a nice job by Tremblay on the read. He's got the running back, Frank, going from the backfield. He's going to shoot out into the flat on this play. That's going to pull the defense out. You're going to see the patience by Tremblay. He knows as the defense widens out, he's going to get a window opening up to his inside receiver. Throws the strike right on time. Create this second and short situation.
Tremblay this time keeps the ball on the read option, and a big hit on the play. He pays for it. Rylan Kelly with the tackle. Not before getting the first down, but you get the sense with this young kid Tremblay, he's used to the contact and doesn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, this is the life of a running quarterback. You're going to take some licks. They're going to sound a little like this.
Three carries for 31 yards already for Tremblay since coming in to start the second quarter.
On Rylan Kelly, I talked to his defensive backs coach in this game, Dave Donaldson, the former CFLer. Had high praise for Rylan Kelly.
This time a short pass. It is complete to Nolan Ulm, who pulls that off the carpet and picks up about 12 yards on the play. And a first.
Relax, it's a simple catch.
Coach is getting into it again. Hank thought that was incomplete. Let's have a look. Total incompletion.
Got away with one there. We have no replay official. here in the CanadaFootballChat.com Prospect Game.
And we were pumping Ulm's tires before the game, so we need the stats to live up to it. Riker Frank, meanwhile, cuts to his left. Looks like he could go. One man to beat, and he is into the end zone for the touchdown. Riker Frank.
A terrific run there from the Regina native, Riker Frank.
Well, the rolling's off, but the idea was a good one.
Well, only a couple days of practice, but they found time to rehearse some celebrations. A couple of terrific cuts there from Riker Frank, over 1,300 rushing yards last season at Leboldus High School. And a chunk of ground there with a touchdown for Team Dunnigan.
5 plays,
holding calls on that play.
2 minutes and 48 seconds, and Team Dunnigan will go for 2 again.
When he comes running off, right after.
Tremblay looks to the backside, and it's intercepted. Intercepted on the play by Rylan Kelly, almost the intended target.
Hey, we gave some love on that touchdown run to Riker Frank.
You're looking at the receiver.
You got to save some of that for the big boys. You're going to get a double team on the nose right here. Terrific block here. And watch the tackle who's going to do double duty from here. And then he gets up and smothers the linebacker. All sorts of room to run for Riker Frank on this play. Left tackle does a terrific job at second level. Gets on the linebacker, Krushelniski. Good read by Frank to bounce it to the outside. Even the receivers are blocking.
That's a heck of a run, man.
That's Milt Stiegel never blocked like that.
No, Derek Bobian with the was the left tackle on the play with the block. He's a man that plays 6-man football currently in Saskatchewan. This time Ishe Matanga with the carry. And again, not much room with that St. Paul linebacking crew. Gain of 3 on the play, maybe 4.
Zach Lytle in on that play. If that name sounds familiar to Winnipeg Blue Bombers fans, it may be because his dad, Dean, is a former fullback for the Blue Bombers. Rare American fullback in the 90s, usually a Canadian position. But Dean, a product of Notre Dame. Well-traveled ball player.
Eli Hedlinger at the controls here. Blitz coming. Hedlinger looks over the middle, and it is incomplete. Looking like his receiver turned left, and he was hoping he would turn right.
Yeah, saw a little bit of communication after the play between Hedlinger and the intended receiver, Oliver Longpre, out of Tantramar in New Brunswick.
We're good there? We're good?
Punting situation now, 3rd and 6.
Lots of time. Good read.
You're good.
This is where we've had some challenges so far, been with the snaps in the kicking game. Despite the fact there's a couple of pretty accomplished long snappers here.
That they are.
And Leif Magnuson and Krushelniski. Krushelniski with a good snap there. Nagler with a short punt. Picked up on the play by Koniak. Short return and a flag. Nagler, a 2-time Winnipeg High School All-Star. That one goes off the side of his foot in good field position following the play for Team Dunnigan.
5 yards. First down.
Team Dunnigan looking to add to their lead. This should be the final play before the 3-minute whistle.
Here we go. Hey, we're playing ball. Let's go.
We're going to take a quick break. They've got their oars in the water, and they are swimming to the end zone. Team Dunnigan with a lead.
We got a TV timeout?
Well, you have to tell us if it's a 3 minute.
Yeah, we're at the 3 minutes, so we should be.
Welcome back to Ottawa. The coach that's doing a little more of the chirping so far is Matt Dunnigan with a 24-12 lead. I got to ask you first. I know you want to get into Hank.
I can't even hear you barkers chirping over here. Yeah. I got Paul Graham. These guys are chirping at me, man. They're a little upset because we're front running right now.
Got to ask you about the kid, Sam Tremblay.
Yeah.
Okay. This kid looks like a thinner version of a young Matt Dunnigan. Just what do you like about this kid?
Well, obviously he's got wheels to spare, and he really puts pressure on the defense immediately once he gets the edge, and we're trying to play to that. Even on the touchdown here, or the two-point convert, we were concerned about, we were discussing whether or not we should go trips or quads in the boundary or whatnot, but we got it done. We got him off the edge, and he made the play happen. That's because of his strengths, and that is his ability to run the football. My God, they just ran a wheel blitz and destroyed our back in the backfield. That's terrible.
Hey, get the fullback in the game, Matty.
Yeah, we try to get guys some touches right now, and they ran a timely blitz. Kudos to them, right?
Now, Matty, we heard you in the pregame tell your team that you wanted them to play offensively, and you wanted them to play defense offensively.
That's right.
How have you felt so far about how the boys have...
Well, the rules really don't allow us to, Dwayne. You know, it's like you can only bring one linebacker at a time, and that's, come on, get there. Too bad. Punt it! Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's... the rules don't allow for it, but I want our guys mentally to be aggressive. I don't want to be passive on our heels. I want to be playing downhill, and you get that mindset going. In these type of games, these guys get a lot of momentum, and the momentum's huge for 16, 17-year-olds.
Thanks, Matt. Enjoy the rest of this one.
Yeah, man. Enjoying it. Listen to you guys. I'm enjoying listening to you guys call the game.
Well, and we know you wanted to get Nolan on the ball. You got it there on that screen, but my new West guy, Taryn Birdie, with the big open field tackle, or he would have gone down the right sideline.
Well, and I'm going to say, you clearly your defensive coordinator, Clint Utley, has taught him well.
100%, and I know how to pick defensive coordinators.
Blue four, ready?
Matt's team going to punt with Zach Copeland. Just avoids getting it blocked. That one's going to go all the way to the end zone. Matthew Moran looks like he's going to take it out. We'll see if he gets greedy. Probably not a good idea.
20, yeah, it's 20.
Yeah.
Well, this can be a challenging situation for the high school guys, because I know different high school leagues have different rules around this. It's sometimes as a means of encouraging the run back rather than just giving up the single point to get another play in. Sometimes they'll bring the ball out to the 20-yard line, or as far as you get with the ball. So by bringing it out, that's the situation we have here. Again, different rules usually in high school than you have in the Canadian Football League. So it's a little bit less of a gamble for them to bring it out from there.
Absolutely. They're playing with the U-Sport rule as far as that's concerned. So the ball will be scrimmaged at the 20 just for Morin getting out of the end zone, and Hank's reaction probably thinking that it was the CFL rule where they would have got the ball at the 2-yard line. Edlinger drops back to pass, has a completion. This is Caden Bannon with the catch, gets a first down out to the 35-yard line.
And Hetlinger once again delivering that ball with some authority. Gets those feet set, shoulders turned. Puts it on the money for Caden Bannon. Bannon out of Garden City High School. A lot of Winnipeggers in this football game.
And he's headed to Vincent Massey to play this fall. Edlinger dropping back to pass. Has a lane. Has an open receiver. That's Bannon again. And another big gain for Bannon. Almost 25 yards on that play into Team Dunnigan territory at the 50-yard line.
Well, looks like this Team Burris offense coming to life a little bit. You know that Eli Hedlinger's a big-time quarterback.
Hey, Mike, how you doing, kid?
This is a kid who was a CFC All-Canadian last season. Led his team to the provincial final. They were beaten by the St. Francis Browns from Calgary in a very close game.
Another free play. He took advantage of the last one. Not able to do it this time. Malcolm Bell would not be fooled again and was in perfect coverage on the play to break up the pass. Again intended to Bermudez Chavez. Looks like it's going to be
offside. Defense. Up 5 yards. Repeat first down.
Eli Hedlinger, we mentioned some of his accolades. Basically 6,000 passing yards over the course of the last 2 seasons. The thing that stands out to me, 25-1 record. We mentioned one loss, that coming against St. Francis out of Calgary in the provincial final.
Hedlinger fumbles the snap, stays with it. Pass falls just complete. Again, looking to Bannon, who's become a bit of a favorite target on this drive.
We should mention as we talk about the Harry Ainley Titans, that's a team coached by former CFLer Brock Ralph. They have a few guys playing in this game. We've talked about Hedlinger. We've talked about Sonny Bermudez Chavez. Also Albert Reese IV, part of that offensive line. Brock Ralph doing a terrific job with that squad.
And Reese, just a mountain of a man at 6'6", 240. And he's got tremendous feet for a big man. His recruiting, I expect that to pick up in a big hurry. Wither looks to his right, almost a completion there. Good throw. Oliver Longpre not able to hang on to it, and a pretty good throw over a defender. Would have been a first down had Longpre been able to hang on.
Well, you see number 23 in white. He's a little bit of a nemesis to Eli Hedlinger. As Charlie Deland, one of the top defensive backs in the class of 2020, was part of that St. Francis Browns team that beat Hedlinger and Harry Ainley in the Alberta provincial final. Not just a terrific defensive back, but Charlie Deland also averaged 43 yards punting the football through his team's playoff run. St. Francis, terrific football school. This is a school that has 11 former Calgary Stampeders alone amongst its alumni, as well as recent BC Lions, Rolly Lambala and Marco Iannuzzi.
Going forward on 3rd and 5, Edlinger drops back to pass, has the completion, but not the first down. Javon Blake with a big-time tackle.
Well, Javon Blake is a big-time player. The top-ranked member of the class of 2020, taking part in this football game. Very versatile player. I know he is a guy that created some concerns for many teams in BC with what he did on the offensive side of the ball, but showing his skills as a defender here today.
He projects into so many different spots. He could play D-line if you look at his frame and what he could add. I mean, he's a dominant player offensively. He's actually a quarterback, just runs the ball as a quarterback most of the time, was responsible for 36 touchdowns last season. And Team Dunnigan in good field position, not able to hang on to the snap as Tremblay goes down on the play. And that's Mitchell Price with the sack.
And for longtime CFL fans, no relation to that Mitchell Price of Hamilton Tiger Cat fame, but a defensive tackle and a very good one nonetheless. Mitchell Price, member of the class of 2021. You see the 17th ranked prospect in that class. He plays at Football North in Mississauga, Ontario, Clarkson Football North.
Brings up 2nd and 13. Tremblay keeps it on the bootleg. Has a receiver. That was Jackson Zerby on the left side. Probably looking for him to head to the sideline since he was rolling out. Zerby stayed inside, and the result is a punting situation for Team Dunnigan.
Well, Jordan Friesen, number 9, the defensive end. He's right at the bottom of your screen. Delivers a bit of a shot right at the end of that play. Friesen's a guy who's caught a lot of people's attention in this ball game. Another one of those Winnipeg guys.
Hit inside initially on that zone, or on the zone fake, but was able to recover and make the play. I'm surprised Dunnigan wasn't up in arms about the hit.
Well, no surprise to see Friesen play the game that way from the D-line spot, as he's coached by former CFL defensive lineman Glenn Scribner.
Another low snap for Copeland. Manages to pick it up and gets a great kickoff. Bermuda Chavez lets it bounce, picks it up at his own 10-yard line, trying to get the corner. And Javon Blake runs him out of bounds.
Man, Javon Blake is a football player.
Looks to be the final play of the first half, and Team Dunnigan going into the break with some momentum. Javon Blake with a big-time tackle. When we come back, More from Ottawa, the CanadaFootballChat.com Top Prospects Game.
Welcome back to TD Place. Coach Dunnigan is up 12 on Coach Burris. Now, the one thing you need to know, as much as Farhan and Dwayne have been talking about the personalities of both guys, and I can tell you they're talking quite a bit on the sidelines, that's to be expected. But they also mentioned, Farhan and Dwayne, the near 700 passes between Burris and Dunnigan. And what's so important are the details. And Friday at the University of Ottawa campus, both Dunnigan and Burris had a chance to meet with the players, really get down to X's and O's, and you could see the kind of connection they were trying to make player to player with these young athletes.
I'm going to be talking a lot, telling you guys a lot, and suggesting a lot. If I can give you 100 pointers and you take 5 of them away, you'd be better off for it, over the next couple of days, okay?
So, okay, we can do our stuff there. Okay, we're going to go route review and concepts. Okay, okay.
Be vocal, take control of these guys because they're all taking your lead, right? This is a battery. You, him, and him got to work together.
The game has changed so much now to where, they're bringing student athletes and putting you together with like-minded, athletes like yourself, right?
Go grab those and have one with you at all times. A throwing ball, not a kicking ball, one, okay?
Yeah. You're having a blast out here. That's what it's all about. Where else would you rather be? Where else would you rather be, baby?
Drift, 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 drift. Get on top. There you go. Hey, verbalize that. Every time you get a chance, verbalize the play. Knowing what has strengths and weaknesses. Change things up front.
Set. Hut.
There you go. Nice. Nice.
When I snap you the ball, you're just going to start your drop. And then when I clap, you set quick and just give it to me, okay? So you're not going to hitch. You're just going to hit the back foot and clap, boom, you give it to me.
Cool. Sit it. Good. Don't set your feet because the idea is we're drawing them in, right? Don't set your feet. Continue. Once you hit here, you drift, and then giving it to them, right? Okay, and you went here like this, right? And you're going back. Oftentimes that ball drift on you. So what you really have to concentrate on is when you're doing that is getting your forward body lean here, almost like doing a crunch, and getting on top of it, right? That way you'll be able to get more on it with accuracy.
Keep that weight center right here in the middle, just so you can transfer it so you're not caught back here. Because both of y'all did that. Here you got the fake, and then you're coming off, throwing the arrow, or to the left, here, and then you got to get up on that right foot. And you come off 1, 2, high release, okay? Okay, just to give yourself some separation, all right? Okay, now make sure you snap it down, okay? So when you come out that fake, you're here, 1, 2, boom. And make sure you get that shoulder to me, all right?
As a small quarterback, you guys got pretty good height. You're about probably 6'1", yeah. Being vertically challenged, I always having to work with trying to create more vision. And Flutie and I often talk about this. And the quicker you can create distance from you and the boys up front, the more vision I have. The more vision I have. The more vision I have, right? Hey guys, come on in, guys. Jeff, take it away.
Hey guys, welcome. I appreciate being here. This is a great invitation to be in front of you guys. Gentlemen, the Grey Cup.
Nice.
Let's put it on there.
100 years from now, when my kids have their kids that have their kids, they'll be able to look at that cup and say, that's what my great-granddad did.
And then soon, your name's on here as an individual, but accompanied by your teammates. And that's what it's all about there. And it starts with making simple choices, the right choices, day in, day out, and start stacking them. And that's what I challenge you to do from this point forward.
To steal a quote from Henry Burris, Ottawa, where else would you rather be than playing football on a Saturday? Farhan and Dwayne with thoughts in the first half when we come back.
Here's a look at the first half stats. It is Team Burris with a slight edge statistically as far as yardage goes, but it's Team Dunnigan with the scoring lead thanks to their points off turnovers.
Well, and that's been part of the story, obviously, in this football game. I think nerves playing a little bit of a factor early on for both teams offensively, and the defense is able to take advantage of that a little bit. But that's to be expected in a game with young guys on the big stage.
Yeah, certainly some outstanding defensive performances so far. Cody McMahon from Mission, Tyson Krushelniski as well has had some pretty good plays, a couple of sacks in this game and some tackles. We saw Blake at the end there, Jovan Blake from Rutland High School, who's made some big plays as well. But really, turnovers have really led to so much offense.
Yeah, they really have. And as I said, especially the way the early portion of this game started off, you had Tyson Krushelniski with the early pick for Team Burris. Even when you look at the way that Team Burris scored the first touchdown, they score it recovering their own fumble. Interception going the other way on a big play by Austin West that managed to set up a Team Dunnigan touchdown coming right back. That allowed them to start getting a little bit of momentum as the team settled down a little bit, as it was Viancourt to Falcone for the first touchdown of the game.
And you saw at some points, I mean, the teams really tried to establish the pass game early, but it was when Team Dunnigan got their run game going that they really started to explode. Riker Frank from Saskatchewan has had a big impact in this game.
Yeah, he certainly has. And we talked a little bit about the offensive line, a strong group for Team Dunnigan in particular, where they're a slightly more experienced unit than the Team Burris O-line. And they took advantage of that, and certainly Riker Frank, a very good running back from Boldus High School in Regina, Saskatchewan, able to make the most of that as well, doing a terrific job reading the blocks that he got, finding his way to pay dirt in the second quarter.
Frank models his game off Christian McCaffrey. He certainly looks the part. We're going to head to break. When we come back, it is the second half of the CFC Top Prospects game. Welcome back to Ottawa for the second half of the CanadaFootballChat.com Prospects game. It is the perfect afternoon for football, and 70 of the top high school players across this country, representing 7 different provinces, are putting their talents on display here. And the first half has been an entertaining one. 36 points through the first 30 minutes. Team Dunnigan came from behind in this one, trailed 6-0 after a good opening drive, and they now lead 24-12. Two coaches are entertaining us with all of their talking. We'll see what they can come up with.
Other side. Let's go. Hey, I want to see you down here in a couple plays.
Great. I got it already, bud.
No doubt both Hank and Maddie had some
He's going to win the MVP. Here we go.
Strong words of encouragement for their teams at halftime.
Keep it going now. Keep it going out there. Keep making plays, baby. Keep making plays, guys. All right, keep making plays. All right, O-line. O-line, this is where you beat them down now.
Oh, yeah.
Third, fourth quarter, man.
Small, get your big body on them.
Make them sink while we swim. Make them sink, baby.
Team Dunnigan back on offense to start this second half. Again, there are no kickoffs in this game, and it will be Xavier Viancourt back at quarterback. He hands off to Jawan Smith, who tries the right side. Not much room there. Sam Viancourt in the first half, though, was very impressive in this game. Sorry, Sam Tremblay, I should say. This is Xavier Viancourt, was 4 for 6 for 40 yards in the first half.
Including the game's first touchdown, Viancourt connecting with Nathan Falcone to get things started offensively for Team Dunnigan.
So it looks as though each quarterback will get a quarter in each of the halves. 2nd and 3 yards to go. Another low snap off to the left. Both quarterbacks have been fielding a lot of that. This time a drop by Jackson Zerby on what would have been a first down. A good job by Viancourt to find the handle, not panic, and put a throw right on the money. Unfortunately, the drive doesn't get to continue.
Well, but you do see, as you mentioned, Farhan, the poise from Viancourt that has made him a successful quarterback at Cochrane High School. Not panicking, able to pick up that snap off the ground and just continue through his reads and find an open receiver.
Took a big hit by Trey O'Brien on the play.
Little things, Chris.
Trey O'Brien, a local kid here from Ottawa, plays for the Football North St. Joe's team. Look like they might be one short on the punt team. Zach Copeland back to punt. No, maybe not. Looks like they're just lined up in the wrong spot. the pitfalls of an all-star game in 2 days of practice. Copeland with another short punt. Wisely knocked out of bounds before a penalty could get called. Actually, there is a penalty on the play. Likely a no yards call here against Team Burris.
Notice. Is that how you say that? Notice? Notice?
No, notice. No accent.
Okay, I like it.
No yards on the kicking team while it was bouncing. First down. 5 yards, 5 yards.
So that touch by Team Burris essentially led to the no yards call. So certainly a heads up play by that defender, and those are Eli Hedlinger's numbers. 5 of 9 for 115 yards and a touchdown, and he'll stay on here in the third quarter. Callum Wither likely to play in the fourth quarter. Matthew Moran, the ball carrier, around the left end.
A nice pursuit there. Once again, it's Nathan Karabatsakis out of St. Paul's High School in Winnipeg. The Crusaders continue to make their presence felt here in the nation's capital.
And we've talked about the 3 members of the St. Paul defense playing right now for Team Dunnigan, and they seem to be everywhere around the ball, and if they're not, Javon Blake is.
And you get a look at one of the leaders of that St. Paul's D, Karabatsakis. That sideline to sideline pursuit.
Hedlinger dropping back to pass, steps up into the pocket, has a completion to Caden Bannon, good enough for a first down.
This one ends up in a little bit of a Winnipeg matchup in the end, but Hedlinger with his pocket presence.
Bannon, one of the only high school players to have his own clothing line. The KB2 clothing line. He's a big fan of Milt Stiegel, as you'd expect for a receiver from the Winnipeg area.
He could do worse, I guess.
Not by much. Hedlinger, this time another nice catch by Jarrell Brown. In traffic. Brown hangs on with it, hangs on to it, finds another couple of yards after the catch. Karabatsakis on the tackle.
Well, one of the things you have to love about an all-star game like this is that you have rivals becoming teammates, and sometimes guys who are teammates during the season playing on opposite sides of the ball. But in this instance, you've got Hedlinger, quarterback from Harry Ainley in Edmonton, throwing to usually a rival from Salisbury. Salisbury and Jarrell Brown, those two have hooked up a couple of times.
Ready? Go, son.
Hedlinger, the handoff to Moran. Picks up the first down, fights his way for a few extra.
I know, just get the first though, but because once that wheel tucks inside.
It's nothing but daylight.
Oh man. Oh.
Team Burris on the move here at the 36-yard line. Hettinger looks to throw it quick. Are you kidding me? Jarrell Brown with that one-handed catch. I wasn't sure who he was throwing to. Brown said, no, that's mine.
Yeah, leaving no doubt. Jarrell Brown, big target, and using that reach. And the big mitt to go up and stick that one.
Brown with 4 catches for 83 yards so far. I thought he was going to Bermuda Chavez, who was in, or sorry, Bannon, who was in behind him.
He might have been, but Brown wanted that ball.
Hettinger draws them offside for the 3rd time with that hard count. Rolls to his left, gets out of bounds a little bit short of the first down. Actually about 3 yards short of the first down, and penalty flag on the play. Free play for him with the offside.
Yeah, and it's little things like that where you get a little bit of a sense of the sort of the football IQ of a guy like Eli Hedlinger.
Offside on the defense. Repeat, second down.
Big team.
Didn't need to take the extra hit on the play. Knew he was getting 5 free yards, ran out of bounds.
Great job, baby.
Running that offense like a young Henry Burris.
There we go.
Because Henry would run out of bounds? Is that what you're trying to say?
Tell you what, you don't have a 20-year career by taking bad risks.
Well, when he was younger in his career, he certainly would have put his shoulders down and gone for the extra yards. But either way, second down, 2 yards to go for Team Burris. Morin with the carry, gets the first down. Brought down around the 23-yard line. Hedlinger with an offer already from the University of Alberta, right in his own backyard. Eastern Washington and Montana and the Big Sky Conference have also shown interest in the young man, who completed 63% of his passes and 66 touchdowns thrown in 2 years as a starter. Dwayne, you mentioned earlier, 25-1. You can't do better than that. Well, I guess you could go 26-1, but 25-1 is pretty impressive for any quarterback.
Well, you get a little bit of a sense even just watching this game. There's some pretty good football talent in the province of Alberta. That's not an easy 25-1.
No, it's a very tough conference indeed. Morin with the carry there. Pickup of close to 6 yards as Team Burris methodically marches down the field trying to get back into this football game, down 12.
Matthew Morin really carrying the load. Product of Lloydminster Comprehensive High School.
It's his 11th year of football. That's a lot of miles for any running back.
Yeah, no question. Not the biggest guy, but great quickness, nice burst. He's been one of the ball carriers who's really stood out during the few days of practice they've had.
Morin with the carry again. This time bounces out to the right. Tackled on the play by Austin Galbraith, the other New Westminster player this year. Wearing the wrong helmet. He doesn't have the chrome on that we like to sport.
You wanted the flashy chrome for this trip.
Well, yeah, but you know, we've still got a bunch of helmets being recertified, so he had to settle for one of our practice helmets.
Galbraith doing a nice job here, maintaining leverage. Wrapping up to make the play. You know, he's been a little bit of a jack of all trades for you with the New Westminster Highacks.
Absolutely. Joined our program last year and played corner. He tied for the province lead in interceptions, ran back punts for us, and he's probably a better receiver than he is a defender. And he's a good defender. He'll probably play more on the offensive side for us this year. Ettinger on the zone read, and he has got a lot of room out there. Javon Blake prevents him from scoring a touchdown, but a nice run by Edlinger. Gets down to the 2-yard line where Team Burris will be first and goal.
Well, Team Burris goes to a 6-0 lineman set. That's Big Ty Anderson out of Centennial High School in Calgary. Comes on as the fullback. He's going to be the lead blocker, as Hedlinger doesn't go completely naked on the quarterback bootleg.
11-play drive for Team Burris. I think this is how Hank envisioned it when he got this team day one. The handoff to Morin, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Team Burris.
There we go.
Well, their celebrations aren't quite as well coordinated, apparently, as Team Dunnigan, but they'll take the 6 points nonetheless. Nice job recognizing the situation in the field position, that where a lot of his runs have been to the outside in this football game. He sees a slight gap inside. He tucks his head and goes.
11 plays, 62 yards, 6 minutes and 14 seconds.
It's a 4-point game right here.
Quarter. That is a professional-looking drive.
Well, I'll tell you what, there are a lot of professional-looking players when you talk about the young men in this football game. Some very bright futures, but a lot of guys who have been coached very well to this point in their careers.
Etlinger with the pass on the 2-point convert. Little underthrown and incomplete. But Team Burris gets back into this game. Plenty of reason to celebrate after a drive like that. A 6-point game with lots of time left.
Third quarter is brought to you by Fox 40, proud partner and official supplier of the CFC Prospect Game. Fox 40, the official peelless whistles worldwide. Authentic, original.
Pretty impressive drive by Team Burris. Let's see what Team Dunnigan can do to respond here. Xavier Viancourt in the game at quarterback. Product of Cochrane, Alberta. Takes the snap, looks to his right, he is intercepted. Intercepted by Avery Smiley, and a big return down to the 7-yard line.
And here comes Team Burris. Avery Smiley out of Northern Secondary in Sarnia, Ontario.
There we go.
We'll take a quick break after that interception. Team Dunnigan will be catching its breath after this. And the Raptors continue their historic run to the NBA Finals tonight when they host defending champion Golden State in Toronto for Game 2. Catch all the action at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific across the TSN network and on TSN Direct. Should be a lot of fun. The Raptors with a 1-0 lead in that series after a big win in the opener. Surprise performance there offensively.
No surprises for those that have been watching the Raps all year.
Meanwhile, Team Burris has surprised Team Dunnigan with the last 2 possessions here. One a long drive and then a turnover on the second one. They try to capitalize. Edlinger keeps the ball. Looks into the end zone. He has a touchdown. It's Bermudez Chavez with another one.
Kick it, kick it.
Bermudez Chavez with his 3rd touchdown of the game.
Well, it's almost like these two guys have played together before. And needless to say, they have. Bermudez Chavez, no doubt a part of that 25-1 record that Eli Hedlinger has put together over the course of the last 2 years at Harry Ainley.
And a dangerous play. If a quarterback's rolling left, you'll tell him not to throw right.
Great job, guys. Great job, great job.
Unless you're that guy, because he did it a few times.
Made a career of it.
But you have to believe that you've got to believe that Edlinger and Chavez have done that after practice, during practice, just having fun figuring out what the other likes to do.
Yeah, and Bermudez Chavez found a soft spot, and he was sort of sitting in that hole, waving his arms as his quarterback worked to his left, just trying to find a window, trying to find a spot where he could set his feet enough to turn his shoulders to throw back the other way.
Zach Ferstaglio trying to give his team the lead. Not pretty, but it squeezes through. Team Burris with their 2nd lead of the game, 25-24. Eli Hedlinger finds his good friend, and his team has the lead. Welcome back to the nation's capital, a showcase of the best high school age football players in the country. Football Canada also has a big role in developing players across this country, and here's Matthew Shinetti with more.
And far on to speak about player development, I'm joined by Aaron Giesler, Director of Sport for Football Canada. Aaron, what is the mission of Football Canada, and especially with respect to developing players like this?
Yeah, so we're the national governing body of amateur football from coast to coast in the country of Canada. Our big perspective is we want to be able to provide an opportunity for anyone to join the sport of football, whether it's flag, touch, tackle, and to be able to get them from playground to stadium as best we can, or if nothing else, be fans of the game, be coaches, be officials, or hopefully, be able to be a parent of a kid that plays in the sport at some point.
Yeah, we were just talking about the weather. Perfect weather for football. We know it's that time of year with the CFL just about to start up. What kind of initiatives does Football Canada have coming up?
Yeah, so it's going to be a crazy summer. So we've got right now actually our identification camps for all our under-19 junior national team for competing next summer in 2020, our World Championship. So that's going to be our opportunity to win our fourth gold medal. We also have our U18 Canada Cup that will take place from July 6th to 13th in Kingston, Ontario, actually not too far from here. That'll bring together the top 40 players from every province to be able to compete for a national championship, which is fantastic. But that's just one of 8 events that'll take place across the country for U16 tackle and flag championship, all the way to 3 other national championships that we have in place.
We're seeing that again, the development today also with these young kids. Aaron, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Matt. And Football Canada, when you look at what's happening with the national team program and the international events that they're able to play in, Dwayne, it really does fit Randy Ambrosie's model of CFL 2.0 with that added international exposure, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does. mission to make the game of football, and most specifically the Canadian game of Canadian football slightly more global. You get a look at the flowing locks of Nolan Ulm.
Well, having coached in British Columbia, knowing all about Nolan, he's the best player to play at Kelowna High School since Taylor Loeffler. And they both have something in common, and that's the flow.
Well, they're leading to speculation that there are no barbers in Kelowna.
Exactly. But what we do know is both those guys were men against boys when they played up in that area, just so physically developed. Valancourt handles the low snap, but that buys enough time for a big sack on the play by Trey O'Brien. And those low snaps to the left have been a bit of a challenge at times.
Trey O'Brien, from the stand-up, he's just going to get upfield. Big defensive end, plays for St. Joseph Football North here in Ottawa. Nice job getting upfield again, maintaining leverage, recognizing his responsibility. Maintain that contained leverage. Get his player down on, get that quarterback down on the ground.
Zach Copeland back to punt again. This time a good punt taken by Morin, who fumbles it but manages to find the handle before being brought down. And that's Leif Magnuson with the tackle, also the long snapper and an exceptional defensive lineman. Welcome back to the nation's capital. Far from here, one of the hotbeds of football in this country. You know, there's great programs across Canada, but St. Paul's High School in Winnipeg is as good as any of them. They have got 5 players in this game. They're an absolute powerhouse in Manitoba and could compete and beat most of the programs in this country. Good facilities, good support. Again, 5 players represented in this game. They've won 5 of the last 8 Winnipeg City Championships. And check out this record since 2010, 85-5. But they got upset last year by Vincent Massey, so that's turned into quite the rivalry, Dwayne.
Yeah, they did. St. Paul's 11 straight years they have been in the city championship.
Wow.
Vincent Massey, though, as you mentioned, with a couple players in this game sort of cutting into their success a little bit.
And you'll see a lot of them every time Team Dunnigan is on defense. That's Ishe Matanga with the carry there.
Yeah, Matanga out of Vincent Massey, the team that won that Winnipeg championship, and he's following the blocks of center
Giordano Vaccaro.
Yeah, who is from St. Paul's, exactly.
Strange bedfellows indeed.
Yes.
Gain of 4 on the play, 2nd and 6. Hedlinger drops back to pass. He's got good time on the play. Has the completion. That's Kasim Ferdinand with the reception. Good enough for a first down, fights for some extra yardage to move the sticks.
Yeah, Ferdinand, another of the local guys playing in this game. He's out of A.Y. Jackson Secondary School in Canada.
That's Ferdinand's first reception of this game. Took part in the Montreal tryout to get here. Really stood out in the one-on-ones there. 1st and 10 at the 40-yard line. Team Burris trying to put together another long drive after the 11-play drive that they scored on to open this half. Hedlinger keeps. Looks like he wants to keep and not put the ball up. Just gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe loses a yard on the play.
Oh, and it's another member of the aforementioned St. Paul's Mafia. It's Dean Lytle in on the tackle on that one.
Sonny Bermudez Chavez with a big game, an opportunistic game with 3 touchdowns. First on a fumble return from his own team, then on a penalty that was coming up. He took advantage there, and then on the quarterback scramble, he knew exactly where Eli Hedlinger wanted to put the ball. Bermudez Chavez, 5 catches, 75 yards, and 3 touchdowns. As we give out the MVPs at the end of this game, he's going to be one we think long and hard about, Dwayne.
Yes, sir.
Hey, this time they could not draw them offside. Team Dunnigan holds its water. Hedlinger dropping back to pass. Guess who? It's Bermudez Chavez again with the catch. Gets more than enough for the first down before being brought down. A late tackle there. Officials keep their flags in their pockets, which is a good thing to see.
Bermudez Chavez, a guy going to rely on his quickness a little bit when you look at the testing scores from the combine amongst these participants. He finished in the top 5 in the short shuttle. Time of 4:27.
Austin Galbraith, the injured player, he better be okay because we've got spring practice coming up next week, so we need him for that, Dwayne. Could be a finger that's either dislocated or his mom is probably watching this thinking, what have you done with my son? Yeah, it looks a little dislocated there. He's a tough kid, though.
Get it on a high five. No, headsets are boxes.
Thank you. Are you nervous?
Not at all. Season's not until August.
Take it.
Final week of spring practice for the Hayeks coming up. We're in Bellingham for
I'll take care of that
spring
for you.
jamboree. There we go.
Take that to pop it back in there, man. Get it in there. Get it yourself.
There's Clint Utley right next to Matt Dunnigan, wanting to make sure his secondary's intact.
Yes.
Pressure. There we go. Keep coming.
First down incompletion on the play. Brings up 2nd and 10.
Quickly.
See what Matty's got up his sleeve. So put that joint back in place for
That's not hard to
Galbraith.
do. That'll swell up tomorrow. That'll be fun. 2nd and 10 for Eli Hedlinger. Let's see if he looks for his favorite target, Bermudez Chavez again. And they got him offside again, so he's got another free play. He knows how to work that snap count. Manages to get the pass off and avoid the sack, but he'll get 5 free yards and another play right after this against that hyper-aggressive defense that seems to want to bring one all the time.
Yeah, they're trying
offside on the defense. Repeat 2nd down.
Yeah, they're trying to time it up, but you'll hear the job Hetlinger's done with his cadence to try and catch them, draw them offside.
Ready? Go, shot!
Nice job by a young quarterback to create those opportunities.
Ready? Go, shot!
2nd and 5 for Hedlinger. Decides to pull it down and keep it. He's got enough room to get the first down before stepping out of bounds at the 42-yard line. Nice run on the play by Eli Hedlinger.
Well, he felt that pressure coming from the right side of that offensive line.
Another long play or a long drive developing here for Team Burris, who had the ball virtually this entire 3rd quarter with the final play coming up here.
That was Leif Magnuson in pursuit there. Beat his man quickly at the line.
Albert Reese the 4th, the injured offensive lineman for Team Burris. Heard one of the players say they punched him in the gut. That doesn't happen in the trenches, Dwayne, does it? Even for young high school kids?
What happens in the trenches stays in the trenches, Farhan.
Oh, you've been working out a little bit? Oh, yeah.
Albert Reese, of course, the son of Albert Reese III, who spent some time in the CFL.
Yeah, terrific defensive tackle with the Edmonton Eskimos in the early 2000s, a Grey Cup champion in 03. And you'll notice how he towers above his teammates at that level. This young man definitely has his father's frame. You see the way he moves. This is, as you said earlier in this ball game, a young man whom we expect the recruiting trail to heat up in a real hurry.
You know, and as we talk about the recruiting process, if you're a player going into grade 12 and you're a skilled position and you don't have an offer, you're probably not getting one as far as the NCAA is concerned. as Ishi Matanga carries the ball. We'll get back to the recruiting when we come back after this. It is 25-24 for Team Burris with 15 minutes to play. An exciting fourth quarter coming up when we return to Ottawa. Here's a look at the stats through three quarters. 500 yards of offense so far in this game, and you see Team Burris. It's a close game on the scoreboard, but statistically at least they're pulling away a bit with over 10 minutes in possession time and 2 long drives in that third quarter.
Yeah, you could really feel in the third quarter how Team Burris took the momentum that they had kind of lost in the second quarter of this football game. A lot of credit to their offense led by Eli Hetlinger during that time.
Absolutely, and they also managed to run the ball effectively. An 11-play drive earlier. I think they're 6 plays deep on a drive right now. And, you know, when you get into these games as a coach, it's so easy to want to go big with it, but they seem to have just developed into going smart with it.
Yeah, exactly. And all the coaches, I think, have done a very good job in this football game. The coordinators, the positional coaches, in terms of preparing these kids to play. And now that we're here on game day, putting them in positions to be successful.
9 first downs to 1, and Hetlinger is able to draw them offside again and get a free play on 2nd and 10. That'll result in a first down. Their 10th first down of this half to just 1 for Team Dunnigan.
It'll be interesting to see as well how the coaches manage the playing time.
Offside on the defense. First down.
They managed some of the playing time down the stretch. You know, we joked in the early part of this football game as the head coaches, Matt Dunnigan and Henry Burris, were kind of joking with each other. But, you know, as much as this is all about fun, I know Matty and Henry are both competitors as well. And in a close ball game, you know, they both want to come out with bragging rights as they got to sit on that desk with each other all season long.
8 penalties for 70 yards for Team Dunnigan as a pass to Jarrell Brown falls incomplete at the 10-yard line. Just 3 penalties for 35 yards for Team Burris. Let's take a look at the 2 head coaches, and 2 pretty accomplished head coaches, if you ask me, from passing yards to touchdowns to Grey Cups all the way down the line. And these young men, these 70 players, know how good they've got it here.
Yeah, they sure do. I mean, these are obviously very impressive resumes in the world of Canadian football for those 2 guys.
2nd and 10 for Eli Hetlinger, who steps up into the pocket, gets the pass away. That's Kasim Ferdinand with his 2nd reception of the game. Good enough for a first down on 2nd and 10. Gets to about the 19-yard line before being brought down. Another long drive.
Keep an eye here on the movement of Eli Hetlinger in that pocket. Just the awareness of where pressure's coming from without ever taking his eyes away from what's going on downfield. He sits in, waits as long as he can before going to that check down underneath, which is enough to pick up the first down yardage.
12th play of the drive coming up after an 11-play drive earlier. And you look at Hetlinger and you can just tell he's comfortable in pressure environments. He's been in a lot of big games in his career, Dwayne. 2nd and 10 at the 19-yard line, and the handoff this time goes to Ishe Matanga. He battles his way for a first down, still going, before being brought down at the 6-yard line. Gain of 13 on the play and a first down.
Well, once again, Matanga out of Winnipeg, Manitoba. The city champion Vincent Massey squad.
10 carries for 52 yards for Matanga.
And Team Burris, that young offensive line, starting to figure it out a little bit.
First and goal now as Team Burris looks to extend its lead, just up 1 with a lot of time left here in the third quarter. Another handoff inside to Matanga, who tries to follow his blocks and instead runs into them, goes down trying to cut back and loses a yard on the play.
Yeah, just blew a tire there as he tried to get to that cutback lane on something of a slow developing play. You see he got ahead of his blocker a little bit. Number 57, Ty Anderson, tried to come around to lead the way for him.
Anderson from Centennial, Alberta, helped lead his team to city and city finals and was a team MVP. He's got a lot of collegiate interest as well. 6'3", 285, no real surprise there. Second and goal from the 7. Hedlinger pulls the ball, looks for Ferdinand, who's got the catch at the 5, but he can break free down at that point, and that'll bring up 3rd down. And an interesting decision for Hank from the right hash mark.
4. Field goal. All right, Callum, let's rock and roll, baby.
Well, this was a play that, as it started off, it looked like it was going to be wide open in the flat.
Almost.
But a good reaction from the team Dunnigan defense in white to recover and get over there in pursuit of Kasim Ferdinand in the flat.
Yeah, 3 defenders right there, ready to make the play. They decide to go for the field goal here, looking to expand the lead. That is Zach Ferstaglio. And he hits the uprights. The 12-yard field goal attempt goes off the iron.
Tough angle.
And not only will Dunnigan's team get the ball back, they're going to get pretty good field position as well when we come back with 10:58 to go. And Burris' team with a 1-point lead.
Fourth quarter is brought to you by the Fox 40 Prospect Challenge Football Tournament. Visit CanadaFootballChat.com to register today.
Setting up for what should be a fantastic finish here, just under 11 minutes to go. Team Burris with a 1-point lead. Xavier Vaillancourt with the ball, swings it out into the flat. Kobe Herford with the reception out of Salisbury in Alberta. Picks up a few yards after the catch, gets the first down out at the 30-yard line.
Yeah, a little more breathing room. A nice way to start that drive after your defense has been on the field for a long time. The offense maybe chilling out, but good way to try and get some momentum going here for Team Dunnigan.
And a long drive for Team Burris settles in no points, which has to be frustrating for them. A 14-play drive. Another low snap to the left, and this time he can't find the handle. And that's recovered by Natalie Fragioni. And Team Burris gets the ball back in position.
There we go.
And Natalie Fragioni, another local guy, plays at St. Joseph's Football North here in Ottawa. Defensive tackle. We had a nice chat with his mother, Sandra, yesterday after practice. Great football mom who talked about what a great benefit it has been for her to have her 3 boys in football. Older brother Vincenzo plays at Mount Allison University.
He's got NCAA interest from schools like Syracuse, North Dakota, Colgate, and you know, his father passed away when he was young, and the mother talked about how football has basically helped raise her boys, her 3 boys that her husband wanted in football, and certainly got a lot out of this game. Wither rolls to his right, throws back across the field. He's back in the game right now. That's Kasim Ferdinand, who can't come up with the reception. Callum Wither started this game, played the first quarter, and has watched in the last 2. Started the game very well with an early touchdown drive, and then kind of slowed down a bit before the end of the quarter, and hopes to finish strong here.
Yeah, a little bit of a tough situation in the quarterback rotation to start and finish, basically to sit for those 2 quarters in the middle of the ball game. But Callum Wither, a guy who is, as the young guy at Football North, Clarkson Football North.
That time almost intercepted. Instead, it is a touchdown. Logan Buckwitz with the reception. Javon Blake had it in his hands, was probably looking the other way, and we got a touchdown for Team Burris.
Well, Buckwitz had an unwanted assist on an early touchdown for Team Burris, where he fumbled just outside the goal line. Sonny Bermudez-Chavez scooped that one up for the touchdown. This time he gets the assist after the tipped ball. He ends up with the score. Off the fingertips of Javon Blake into the hands of baby Gronk.
Little BC and BC crime right there. Blake could have taken it the other way. Instead, he gives a gift to Buckholz from G.W. Graham High School. His mother also here watching. And again, we talked about how it's been a difficult week for him because of injury. Dropped the ball earlier in the game, but winds up making the play right there.
All right, D, let's go.
no good.
Let's go. Hey, D.
So a 7-point lead for Team Burris as we come back to Ottawa after this. The PGA Tour comes to Hamilton on Thursday when golf's elite tee off at the RBC Canadian Open in first-round action. Coverage begins at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, across the TSN network and on CTV. Matt Dunnigan not happy with his misfortune on that last play. Finds himself down by 7. That's Samuel Tremblay back into the game at quarterback. Looks for Jackson Zerby. Incomplete on the play.
Yeah, Taryn Birdie out of New Westminster. There with the coverage. Anticipate seeing Team Dunnigan start to move the pocket again a little bit more with Samuel Tremblay back in at quarterback. We saw him as he came on in the second quarter change the face of this game a little bit with his mobility.
Team Dunnigan has led Team Burris has outscored Team Dunnigan 19-0 on a bit of a run here since halftime. Tremblay back to throw, looks down the right side. Taryn Birdie with the interception. A little bit of miscommunication there between Ulm and Tremblay and Birdie. The recipient.
Oh, bling, bling.
Got an old lineman down.
Birdie in the right place at the right time. Because of that chrome helmet, Burris has been calling him bling bling. Something to celebrate going to break. Boy, Dwayne, it has been all Team Burris here in the second half as Tremblay puts up an ill-advised pass.
Yeah, throwing into coverage. He's looking for Falcone down that sideline, but a couple of defenders there closing on him. Taryn Birdie, the man who comes up with the INT and smiling over there. Mr. Everything in the Canadian Football League, Dave Donaldson. He's coaching the defensive backs here. His hometown of Winnipeg. Former CFL receiver, defensive back, kick returner, spent time with BC and Winnipeg. Also spent some time as a Canadian Football League official. But now Dave is a volunteer coach at the vaunted St. Paul's Crusaders in Winnipeg, and here given his time this weekend as well.
Always had energy. I remember when he played, one of Coach Dave Ritchie's favorites.
Yes, sir.
And from this area, and I know the coaches or the players that have been coached by him just have loved his energy, just kind of that infectious personality.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the players have been having fun this week, but I'm not sure anybody has had more fun around this game than Dave Donaldson has. He's really enjoyed the experience.
Loss on that last play. Withers steps up into the pocket, looking left. He's got a guy. Can he make the catch? That's Sony Bermudez-Chavez. They're calling that a catch.
That is a fantastic effort.
That's a nice catch.
Even the opposing coach is giving you love, you know you're doing good things.
Great job to keep the play alive here, but an even better play on the sideline, Dwayne.
Yeah, Wither throwing into a tight window. Charlie DeLand couldn't have done more in coverage. And you know, these two saw a little bit of each other once again in that Alberta provincial final. St. Francis of Calgary with Charlie DeLand versus Harry Ainley of Edmonton. And Bermudez-Chavez gets the better of DeLand this time.
Wither hands off to Morin. Stacked up after a gain of a couple. Nicholas Pereira from St. Paul's in on the tackle. Almost got him offside again.
Hey, go!
Wither maybe doesn't have the voice that Hedlinger does.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, you've got to think that with relatively small rosters, about 35 players on each team in this football game, the way that Team Burris has controlled the ball in the second half, the Team Dunnigan defense has got to be starting to get a little bit worn out with 7 minutes to go.
Well, and we talked about it earlier. 3 of the 6 offensive linemen are 10th graders. Young players here, and they're still managing to do what they do defensively or offensively as Wither steps up into the pocket with a short gain of about 3 yards. Well short of a first down, and we have an official down on the play as well. But Dwayne, you and I had a chance to speak to Callum Wither yesterday, and the maturity of this young man is striking to me. I mean, here's a player that has all sorts of ability and accolades, and he has completely understood the big picture of his program, of his development, what's important. He commutes over 2 hours each day by transit to get to Clarkston, and just the maturity, the complete package this kid has to offer. Some college program is going to get a great one.
Yeah, I mean, when you
more of a man side,
talk about a guy understanding
you got that dig
big picture
into your face. So if they drop deep, you'll have the under, but if they stay shallow, because they're not getting any depth in their drops inside. So if you come back, do your drop, and knowing where your dig is, get your eyes there for that first hole, especially from an inside slot. That first hole dig is in there on Oregon, on any of the plays that have an inside slot running a dig, and then on Gens, they're there all day because they're not getting any depth.
Yeah. Talking about the dig?
Yeah, because even on the one that was great play, great catch, great throw, but a lot easier. Yeah, much easier. And you're going to have chances for that again. One thing we can do to help you also is to come out and throw some just hitches across the board, because right now they're playing soft with everything, whether it's zone or man. Yeah.
They play cut last.
Yeah.
The half went up.
Yeah.
Cut three.
Right. A lot of zone. Well, good job, though. Good job.
A little bit of extra time for Henry Burris to chat with his quarterbacks over on the sideline as you look right beside the logo. That's one of our officials, John Pinch, who finds out that Javon Blake packs a bit of a punch as he goes down hard. So as they were tending to him, making sure he's okay.
Here's a look at the crew. Been a fairly well officiated game.
Yeah, the guys are doing a good job.
I'd only complain about Birdie's pass interference call. Other than that, there's nothing.
You might have been a little biased there.
Yeah, just a little. Ethan Nagler on to punt, trying to pin Team Dunnigan deep.
Nice placement.
Perfect placement. Nathan Falcone catches it, gets a couple of yards, and gets out of bounds. Make that Colby Herford at the 12-yard line, where Team Dunnigan will take over. But getting back to Callum Wither, I mean, you know, this is a guy that this summer's got a very busy camp schedule. He's going to the University of Michigan. He's going to be at Ohio State and a number of other places. He was at Kent State last week. Everybody assumed Kent State was going to offer him, and the Kent State coaches said, there's no point. You're going to be too big for us down the road. How's that for a statement?
Yeah, and I mean, he's a kid who at a young age has really come to understand the big picture. You know, he started off at Clarkston Football North, which is a prep program run out of a Canadian high school in Mississauga, Ontario. These guys play an entirely American schedule and play what is legitimately one of the toughest schedules in the entire U.S.
Absolutely.
They play against some tough teams, primarily in Ohio and Pennsylvania. And Callum Wither got there as a grade 9. He's had a couple of older quarterbacks ahead of him, so he's played primarily in JV games, but has seen some time with the big boys. His head coach is Larry Justanis, former CFL quarterback. He does additional quarterback training with Damon Allen. So, I mean, he's right in his wheelhouse with Matt Dunnigan and Henry Burris here this week. But you talk about a kid understanding the big picture, to have the patience to wait to play behind some older players, while also, as he said, commuting 2 hours each way to get to and from school.
Everybody up! Everybody up!
You know, doing extra training, extra workouts after school. I mean, this is, you know, sort of the work ethic, the perseverance, the patience that he has shown, this is something that that bodes very well for the future of Callum Wither.
Well, and it's rare for a kid that age. You saw the full American schedule. They're going to play IMG this year. 18 months ago as a 9th grader, Callum was about 5'7" and 120 pounds, and they put him in a game in the second half against St. Xavier, I believe it was, from Ohio, who was a top 10 ranked team in the United States.
In the entire U.S.
And he went 14 of 17 and threw 2 touchdowns in that game after getting hit early.
Yeah, got knocked around early. But he figured it out and settled down and played great.
Zach Copeland with the punt. That's taken by Kasim Ferdinand, who's got some space. Down the right side, cuts back in, and just brought down at about the 21-yard line. Great return by Ferdinand after the short kick.
The Team Burris offense is going to love this short field. Ferdinand, nice burst, nice block by your man Taryn Birdie to seal the corner and get Ferdinand to the outside.
All the way to the 21-yard line. Team Burris with a 7-point lead already, looking to add to this, and they basically controlled the second half of play.
I see your home team. I see you out there representing. Good job, baby. Good job.
Home team referring to the fact that Ferdinand, as you mentioned, Dwayne, is from Ottawa, A.Y. Jackson High School. He's got Callum Wither and his team in very good field position. Wither with the handoff to Ishe Mantanga. Pick up about 5.
Yeah, a couple of nice cuts there from Matanga. Guy who probably projects as a fullback at the next level, but he's been primary ball carriers in high school.
Javon Blake with the tackle. How about this for Johan Blake? He's for Javon Blake, he's the cousin of Johan Blake, the Jamaican sprinter, and counts Johan Blake and Usain Bolt among his childhood idols, because this guy's a pretty good sprinter in his own right. Wither keeps it, has enough for the first down, inside the 5-yard line, fights for more, and is brought down.
Hey, let's go, Callum. There we go. Wither.
Nice run by young Callum Wither.
Yeah, Wither showing some of his athleticism. And we know from that story about playing as a 9th grader against one of the toughest teams in the U.S. that this is a pretty fearless kid.
Nathan Karabatsakis with the tackle. First and goal from the 3-yard line. 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Team Burris looking to put this away. The handoff inside to Matanga. Brought down in the backfield by Adams.
Yeah, Anthony Adams at a St. Mary High School in Pickering. We got a chance to meet Anthony on CFL Draft Day as he and Callum Wither were in studio with us helping promote this ball game. This is a guy with a real bright future as well, big rangy frame. Another of the 10th graders playing in this All-Star Showcase.
And that's the 3-minute warning. We'll be back with the final 3 minutes and see if Team Dunnigan can get back into this game. Your MVPs for this game from Team Burris, we have got Sony Bermudez-Chavez, 7 catches, 114 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He has been everywhere. He started the game in the end zone and was there often. Great performance by the young man from Harry Ainley High School. And for Team Dunnigan, we've got Riker Frank from Regina, Saskatchewan, 6 carries, 61 yards, and a touchdown as well. Today's game MVPs are brought to you by Fox 40. Fox 40, the original Beeless Whistle Worldwide Authentic Original.
Number of guys having pretty good days out here for both of these teams. It's tough to argue with the guy who goes over the century mark and has a hat trick on touchdowns and a running back who averages over 10 yards a carry.
Second and goal from the 3. Callum Wither keeps the ball, looking to throw, has a man just a little behind him. That was Logan Buckwitz in the end zone. Let's see that deep if they're going to go for the touchdown or if they'll try for the field goal here. Callum Wither not happy with himself.
Yeah.
If we were to run, we can just take that 20.
Dang it.
Looks like they will in fact attempt the field goal here. Remember the last time they were down here was off the post, off the upright, but it had the post.
Yeah, a little better angle here, although he's got to get that ball up in a hurry.
Zach Verstaglio with the field goal attempt from 10 yards out. Penalty flags on the play. It looks like an offside. Will Hank get greedy here now from the 1 yard line?
You know it. All right.
Procedure on the offense. That penalty will be declined.
Guess he won't be getting greedy.
Yeah, no.
We just need a little more space. A little more space. So we don't.
Verstaglio on for the field goal, and it's good. A 10-point lead now with 2:47 to go.
Hey,
here's a guy that CFL fans might be familiar with. He's been helping all the kickers throughout the week.
Hank Olesic, longtime Edmonton Eskimo during their dynasty days, and a 2018 class of 2018 CFL Hall of Famer.
Now, was he 17 or 18 when he broke into the...
I think it was 17.
17, yes. So he's younger than a lot of these guys playing in this game when he first played for the Edmonton Eskimos.
Yeah, remarkable. Had to ride his bike to practice because he couldn't drive yet.
Looks like he can still kick.
Oh, no question. Hank has always kept himself in phenomenal shape.
So do you have a 2-point, or do you have a 2-minute offense prepared when you've only got 2 days to practice?
There might be a very limited package. You know, at practice yesterday, I did hear the coaches talk about no huddle a little bit.
The swing pass, not much there for Juwan Smith. Everybody on that defense rallies to the ball. Tyler Breakin, the first there for the tackle.
Yeah, Breakin from hockey country, Sault Ste. Marie. Your championship team at the Cora Colts. Juwan Smith, the ball carrier on that play. By the way, out of St. Thomas More in Hamilton, which finished the year as the #1 ranked team in the CanadaFootballChat.com rankings.
Tremblay rolling out, finds Nolan Ulm, but he's brought down right away. Was Rylan Kelly with the tackle there. Getting back to Smith. He also had a breakout performance in right here at this stadium in the OFSA Festival football events at the beginning of the year. So he's comfortable in this building. And another guy that's had to share time and will get a much bigger opportunity this fall.
And Juwan Smith, this is a guy who's used to having to share. He's a twin. His brother, a defensive back. That St. Thomas More team, coached by former McMaster University star Claudio Silvestri.
Tremblay gets to the edge, looking to throw. Instead, pulls the ball down. Brought down after a gain of about 6 yards. And Team Dunnigan turns it over on downs.
Well, Jordan Friesen. Great pursuit from his defensive end position. He's coming from the far side of the field. Nice job dipping the shoulder to get underneath the block, and he just runs.
And this is what coaches want to see when they're looking at film at the next level. They want to see a motor. They want to see effort when it comes to defensive line play.
Yes, sir. Coach Scrivener has taught him well.
Team Burris takes over. Team Dunnigan with just 2 first downs.
And 4 turnovers in the second half of this ballgame.
You've been giving love to the offensive coordinators. We might want to talk about Team Burris' defensive coordinator.
Yes, sir.
Matthew Morin with the carry, pickup of about 8 yards. I'd imagine Team Burris trying to milk the clock now. And if you're Callum Wither, you're not happy with this running out the clock. You want a few more chances to put the ball
That's right. Put it in the air.
There's Dante Bowen out of Brampton, Ontario.
Yeah, pretty good genes, especially now that he's found his way to the gridiron. This is a guy who's an elite lacrosse player. But given that his father, Orlando Bowen, was a CFL linebacker, and his grandfather, none other than the great Chuck Ely, CFL legend, Grey Cup champion.
1972 Grey Cup champion, and certainly a pioneer for a number of different athletes, especially in this league, and what a role model to have as a grandfather.
Yeah, no question. No question. Chuck Ely was the quarterback of the Toronto Argonauts when I first started watching games. I grew up in a family of Argo season ticket holders. And that is one of my lasting memories, was Chuck Ely leading that team.
And when we had a chance to talk to him yesterday, you could tell he's not pushing Dante into this. This is Dante wanting to do this, and
yeah.
Grandpa's just enjoying it all.
Yes.
Here's a look at that aforementioned Grey Cup right here. Chuck Ely was the most outstanding rookie for that team.
Yeah, after an undefeated college career. Got ignored by the NFL. Came up to play in the CFL, began his career with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, led them to that Grey Cup victory as a rookie, 13-10 that day.
And really set the stage for guys like Warren Moon and so many others that followed and got their first opportunity in this league.
Yes, sir.
That was Matthew Morin with a 25-yard run on the last play. Sets up Team Burris at the 16-yard line. Morin with the carry again up the middle, and it opens up. Morin into the end zone for the touchdown. A 16-yard run for Matthew Morin out of Lloydminster to put an exclamation mark on this game.
There we go.
There we go. Grade 10 offensive lineman.
Hold on, what of that cake?
For Team Hank. Getting it done again. This way, opening things up for Matthew Morin. Go to Lloydminster. There you saw his burst running through a couple of arm tackles to find Pater.
Great job. Great job, O-line.
Led his team to a Tier 2 provincial title. 150 yards of all-purpose yardage in the final.
I was saying you were talking about the 7 men, but then you put it at the 7-yard line. Great job. Great job.
Again, his 11th year of football. This guy is comfortable on a field. Kick is up, and it's good. With 1:05 remaining. The score, Team Burris 41, Team Dunnigan 24.
I want to take a look back at the work of the big boys up front. Watch the double team right here on the nose. You've got, I believe, Cameron Friesen at center, Giordano Vaccaro out of St. Paul's in Winnipeg. Great double team up to second level. They sort of swallow up the linebacker, Karabatsakis, so that his only hope is to try and make an arm tackle, but Matthew Morin isn't going to allow that. He finds his way to the end zone. Great job by the boys up front.
Oh, this is the best part right here. Riker Frank takes the swing pass in the flat, brought down by Kelly.
I know Henry Burris will keep his eye on the field right to the bitter end.
Oh, cold. Oh, goodness, that's cold. Great job, guys. Yeah.
I was looking at Matty, and he was just staring at him. You could tell he was sour. Interception on the play.
Let him go.
And this is one of the guys I was hoping for a chance to talk about in this ball game. That's Brad Kamayu, one of the guys from Clarkson Football North. Guy who has been probably the most talked about defensive back this week, has really impressed coaches with his range, athleticism, and football IQ.
Victory.
Terrific job from his free safety spot. So he's hanging deep right here, looking to take care of business late in the game, make sure nobody gets behind you. They're going to try and go down the middle, but Brad Kamayu comes up with the play. Talked to Larry Justanis, his head coach, about him during the season. This is a guy who had played various positions in football before he arrived at Football North. They looked at him right away, turned him into a defensive back, and he's really emerged as a star. There, he describes him as well as all the athleticism you talk about. This is a guy who ran 4 or 5 laser-timed 40 in the lead up to this ball game. He's a blazer, but he's also described as the best tackler on his team. Never misses. Not a big hitter, but makes sure every time.
Receiving some NCAA interest from schools like Pitt and UConn and Kent State.
How long is that going to take?
With a 4.5 40 and a strong performance this summer at the camp process. I think that'll give him a chance. You know, we talked about that earlier. What comes after this game is going to be really important for a number of these players.
Get the speeds going.
Yes,
the locker room is taped up. The champagne is ready.
Some in the midst of the recruiting process already for some things heating up.
University and whatnot. And I got to play full.
They give some love to some of the assistant coaches that did a great job as well. The coordinators, Chris Hopkins and Kevin McNeil for Team Dunnigan. Tom Flaxman, Ryan McManus.
We're going to line up on the 50-yard line.
Team Burris.
Okay.
Did a great job getting these kids ready to play and putting them in positions to be successful here today.
Great job. Great job. I know.
Enjoy that whistle.
Nice shot.
Hey! It's been a fantastic 3 days, bringing together the best players, best high school football players in all of Canada for this inaugural game, hopefully the first of many. We thank you for watching. It's the CFC Top Prospects Game, the CFL on TSN, coming up in the coming weeks.